Hi, I'm Nurse Queen.
And I'm Alicia. Welcome to Central Line and Nurse on the Move.
So today, this video is going to be very collaborative. We created a poll on our Instagrams, basically asking our followers what they wanted to know about us and how we're handling 2020. So from COVID-19 to racial inequality, we're going to hit all of those topics. So if you don't follow us, go ahead and follow us on Instagram at myqueen__ and
RN_Alicia, or better yet, follow Nurses on the Move.
yes. And if you don't follow or if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe and like below. We're gonna get into this video. Okay, so this video is gonna be very interactive, more so like a girls talk. So we're gonna go through the list of questions and then we're gonna answer them individually according to our experience. So the first question you asked, someone asked is, how is 2020 going for you? So personally, anxiety is through the roof. 2020 for me has been very, very stressful because when COVID-19 was introduced, I had to take care of COVID-19 patients who are pregnant, and it was just like a different level of stress. Now that we're currently in that same situation, we're kind of getting over the hurdle because we realize we don't have a vaccine, which is cool, whatever. But now we're more so focused on racial inequality and just the killing of Black people here in America, which is a constant issue. So that's another form of anxiety for me. So I just feel like 2020 is getting worse and worse and worse. And me as a nurse, a Black nurse, I think that is taking a toll on me mentally, honestly. How do you feel?
Yeah, 2020 has just been a whirlwind of emotions.
Yes.
Literally, because in the beginning of 2020, Kobe Bryant died. And it went from that to COVID, and then that, and it's been so many different things that has went on in 2020 that is just so different from just our normal routine.
Yeah.
No one in life has ever had to wear a mask all the time and have to wear a mask to go into facilities, and we've literally been locked down for 2 months. So but in the same sense, I think it also helped me to reset as well, and make me do some things that I wouldn't normally do, focus on things I wouldn't normally focus on, and also just kind of prepare my mind to be more thoughtful and think about just life and how precious it is, and not to take any moment for granted. Exactly. But in the same sense, I was able to go to New York and work with COVID patients, but we'll get into that later on. But yeah, it was a whirlwind of emotions, just completely.
So the next question that you all submitted was, how is COVID-19 affecting you personally? So honestly, for me, at first, I wasn't getting COVID-19 patients. I wasn't getting any patient with coronavirus. So people were in New York, at the epicenter. Lish was going to New York for her assignment. Everybody was actively med-surg, and ICU was taking this toll with many patients who had this deadly virus. And I'm I'm in labor and delivery. We don't have any patients who have it.
Right. And
granted, I'm still a nurse on the front line, but I still felt like I wasn't actively in the trenches, as you should say. Mm-hmm. So honestly, now I feel like we have met our surge. At that point, New York was in their surge. I feel like the DMV area, DC, is at their surge now. So it's very stressful because you have to basically go into these patients' room, take care of them and their baby, deliver their baby with minimal PPE, protective equipment, and it's just very stressful. Just to know that you can go home possibly having the virus, or you can touch something and get the virus. Nobody knows the actual transmission of it, and CDC comes out with new recommendations every day. So me being a nurse out there, just knowing that they're basically winging it, is kind of stressful to me. So as Lish mentioned before, it kind of was a reset for me too. It helped me focus on my future more and just my overall goals. It helped me save so much money because I was literally going to brunch every weekend, literally buying outfits to go to brunch all the time, and it was now I have nothing to spend my money on, which is something I needed. I needed that minor setback to actually recharge and hit the ground running. So that's a positive way to look at it, but yeah, that's how it affected me.
Yeah, it was a double-edged sword, but I think it was a good opportunity for me to experience working during a pandemic as a nurse. I wanted to go to New York because I wanted to be part of history, and I also wanted to make a difference. So I'm happy I was able to do that. But you know, it was a totally like different shift when it comes to like being a nurse, being covered essentially from head to toe. And they told us only go into these rooms if you need to. Like I probably saw my patients, it wasn't hourly rounding, like we saw these patients, I don't want to say, but very minimal amount a night, okay, unless they called or they needed something. And we had like cameras for the rooms that they needed to like be watched. It was cameras. I'm sure it was like super lonely too, because they can't have family in there, you know, they can barely have nurses in there, and it's just like, you know, I'm here by myself. And when people go in, it's like they look like they're on the moon, like with astronaut suits. So I can imagine how lonely that was. And I noticed it was inequality in the workplace was in the beginning of my nursing career. That's when I really noticed that it was a difference between me and them. I could do something minor, maybe like a minor mess up, and it would be 10 eyes on me, versus if one of my other coworkers did the same thing as me, it wouldn't be as punitive as if, you know, as if I did it. I remember a specific situation where I think my patient had like low urinary output, and I think I kind of like didn't look over. I charted it, but I didn't report it. And you know, I had the charge nurse talking to me, and I had, you know, all these people talking to me, and then there was another one of my coworkers who did like something worse than me. She just got kind of like a warning, like don't do that again. But nobody, you know, she didn't really get to talking like I did. Like, so that's when I noticed, okay, and like in the words of Michelle Obama, Becoming, that book is bomb. You have to do 10 times as much to get half as far. And that really resonated with me when I read that, because it's like we have to do way more, but even the more that we do, we still aren't going to get as far as as far ahead as we would if someone else did it. So that
racism in the workplace is a real thing, and a lot of people feel like just because you're not targeted, specifically someone calling you the N-word or anything of that nature, it's not racism. But people do a lot of subliminal things that they claim they don't know any better. I went to school in Kentucky, we both did, and when I graduated, I worked in Kentucky for 2.5 years, and I experienced so much subliminal racism and just ignorance to our culture that it literally made me feel like I wasn't worthy to even be in that scenario, because people would say things to me like, oh, why do you all have your own TV network like BET? And it would be like, yes. They say you. And I'm just like, wait,
why shouldn't we?
And I'm like, every other network is geared towards you all. So subtle things like that.
They was happy to have you to work with them. Yes. Who else was they gonna ask? They don't have nobody else.
And I used to be like one of like 3 black nurses or 2 black nurses on that unit. And just working overall, like you have like this imposter syndrome where you feel like you have to like work so hard, like so much harder than everybody else to even get that, you know, sense of recognition that you really need. So overall, it was very, very stressful, but I'm out of that situation now for the most part. But yeah, that was my experience for sure. Okay, so next topic, we're gonna focus on patient discrimination. Have you ever been racially profiled by a patient? I guess that's the question. So me personally, I started off in med-surg, so I did work with older people, and a lot of my patients had like Alzheimer's or dementia, and it was many cases where I would walk into a patient's room and they would call me like the N-word. And I did work
many times?
Probably like twice. That's more than enough. Yeah, that's more than enough.
That is enough.
But I would walk in and it's like, what? Like, but the patient had Alzheimer's, dementia. Granted, that's probably all he remembered in the past, but my thing is like, it wasn't okay then and it's not okay now. So just for that to like resonate for me as a nurse and a new grad, it made me feel like I really still have to take care of this man. Like I still have to take care of this patient. And it was just so like belittling to me to know that I'm actively managing your care, basically keeping you alive, and you had the audacity to disrespect me.
Wow. I remember one time specifically there was my patient and her husband, and he said that my hair looked like a mop.
Oh.
He said my hair like a mop.
What did you say?
I was salty. I was like, cause you know it really caught me off guard.
That's not okay.
It's not, but he's.
What? Did you keep him as a patient?
It wasn't even that. It was like her husband.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like a visitor.
And nobody, like his wife, didn't say anything. Like, oh, that's not okay.
I don't think so. I don't think she said anything. You know, I didn't cry or nothing because this was like during, like, on down in my nursing career. You kind of get this thick skin. When you in the beginning, you know, everything makes you break down, but as like time progresses, you can be called the B word and you don't flinch, you don't bat an eye. So this was like on down. So I don't even think I think I don't even think I said anything else. I don't even think I said anything to anybody. Shame on you. Next
topic we're gonna touch bases on is the importance of attending an HBCU. So yes, I love that question.
I love that question.
So I honestly feel like it's very important to attend an HBCU just because it instills like your self-worth. It helps you realize that the Black excellence that you're surrounded by, you want to be like these people. You want to basically excel and kind of follow in their footsteps for the most part. I know I grew up on the south side of Chicago and I was around predominantly Black people. And although they were Black and they looked like me, the people ahead of me that I looked up to somewhat, like those are not people I wanted to be around. Like I was surrounded by drugs, violence, all of that at school, in high school and elementary school. And just to be able to go somewhere with people that looked like me, that was progressing, it was very motivating to me. So overall, when I have kids, I'm going to enforce them to go to an HBCU just because when you go out back into white America, you kind of just know like your self-worth. You know that like you're worthy enough to be here and that you're excellent overall.
Right. HBCUs to me was a must. Like there's no other way. Not only should we invest in the Black community, you know, all the athletes I think should all go to, all the great athletes should go to HBCUs. Yeah. But it was important for me to go to an HBCU to be around like-minded individuals like me, and to be able to study and to grow professionally and to make connections with people that look like me and thought like me. All my siblings went to HBCUs. I'm the youngest of 4, so that was another like deciding factor of me to go to an HBCU. So like I said, there's no other way, and I'm super happy with my decision, our decision.
Yes.
And a great decision.
Great
because
decision.
At the end of the day, once we get out in the real world, that's all that's going to be around us is non-Black people.
Non-Black people, yeah.
So,
so the next topic we're going to hit, I guess, a point on is how are your white/non-Black friends helping with the current discrimination against Black people?
Loaded question.
That's very
that's a loaded question.
That's the one.
Trigger.
But no, literally with the current discrimination of Black people, like I mean this is like a everyday thing. It's always been an issue, but I don't feel like they're as vocal as I would want them to be, which is very frustrating because I understand that they don't know how it feels to be a Black woman or a Black person in this world, but I honestly do feel some type of way that they're not as passionate and just like as pissed off as I am about Black individuals dying, but they're more focused on protesters that are looting and, you know, the burning of the American flag. Like they're more focused on those things, but they're never once ever reposting or making statuses about, you know, George Floyd dying. You know, like, it's just crazy to me. But overall, I do have some white friends that, you know, that, or non-Black friends that have posted, have reached out to me to check on me, like just my mental and everything. So that's been very much appreciated. But those that aren't, it just kind of reveals like their true colors. And I feel like if you can respect my ethnicity, like my race and all of that, like we can't be friends. That's just how I feel.
Because you know, Black culture, everyone loves to indulge in, you know, Black culture. They want to have braids, you know, they want to have these quick weaves, they want to have the long nails, and just, you know, knowing that that's our culture, you know what I mean?
Yes.
If you're going to take from the culture, go ahead and give into it too. Give back to it too. So I'm all my non-Black friends that I see that have not said anything about it, I'm unfollowing them, and I don't want to talk to them. All the people that all my white friends, or it's mostly, well, I could say it's a mixture of white and non-Black friends who are posting it, I'm making sure that they know that I saw it and that I appreciate it. I'm going to comment under that picture and say, you know, thanks, or put 100 sign, or put my hand, like clap, because I want them to know that, you know, I appreciate you for speaking out against the injustices. And, you know, if you're not, then that's definitely a problem, because silence means that you're complacent, you're okay with what's going on.